हरि ओम। ओम श्री गणेशाय नमः। ओम श्री हिरण्यगर्भाय नमः। ओम श्री महाविष्णुवे नमः। ओम श्री महादेवाय नमः। ओम श्री महादुर्गाये नमः। ओम श्री राम रामाय नमः। ओम श्री सद्गुरवे नमः। ओम सहना भवतु सहनो भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ओम शांति शांति शांतिः। ओम गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुरेव परब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। समस्त जनकल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरम्। शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानामालयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादशङ्करं लोकशङ्करं। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। शङ्करं परमानन्दं ब्रह्मनिष्ठं यतीश्वरं भाष्यभ्रान्तिहरं वन्दे शुद्धज्ञानैकबोधकम्। ॐ नमः शिवाय 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 ॐ नमः शिवाय। नमः पार्वती पतये। हर हर महादेव। हरि ओम हरि ओम। We'll begin with the Shanti mantra. ॐ आप्यायन्तु ममाङ्गानि वाक् प्राणश्चक्षुश्रोत्रमथो बलमिन्द्रियाणि च सर्वाणि सर्वं ब्रह्मोपनिषदं माहं ब्रह्म निराकुर्याम् मा ब्रह्म निराकरोत् अनिराकरणमस्त्वनिराकरणं मे अस्तु तदात्मनि निरतेयोपनिषत्सु धर्माः ते मयि सन्तु Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. We shall chant from the first mantra of the second section. Sadeva Samyedamagrasit Ekameva Dvitiyam Tadheka Ahuhu Asad Eva Idamagra Asit Ekameva Dvitiyam Tasmadasatah Sajjayata Kutastu Khalo Soumya Evam Syaditi होवाच कथम असतः सज्जायेतेति सत्वेव सौम्येदमग्र आसीत् एकमेवाद्वितीयम् तदैक्षत बहुस्यां प्रजायेति तत्तेजो असृजत तत्तेज ऐक्षत बहुस्यां प्रजायेति तदपो असृजत तस्माद् यत्र क्वच शोचति स्वेदते वा पुरुषः तेजस एव तद् अध्यापो जायन्ते. Shvetaketu's father, who is the teacher, begins the teaching with the second section. First, he indicates that Sat alone was there in the beginning, because this is the teaching which was mentioned before, that knowing one, everything will become known. And what is that one? That one is Sat. Just like knowing clay, all that which is made up of clay becomes known. Similarly, knowing Sat, all that which are expressions of this Sat becomes known. So in order to make us understand that this world with all its variety is Sat alone. So in the beginning, before it expressed as different names and forms and activities, this whole world was Sat alone, Ekameva Advitiyam. And from that Sat alone, everything has come into expression. So this Sat, which is also indicated as Brahma, is both the Upadan as well as Nimittakaran of this world. Upadan means the material cause, and Nimittakaran means efficient cause or intelligent cause of this world. So in order to present the material cause, the Upanishad gives the example of the clay and the clay pots, etc. So there we can see the direct relationship between the pots and the clay, the relationship of cause and effect. The pots are the effect, clay is the cause. Pots cannot exist without clay. When we experience the pots, we are, along with the pot, we are also experiencing the clay. There is no such thing called pot without clay. Pot is experienced along with clay. Some people may not know that clay, and some may know the clay. So even those who don't know clay, they can also experience the pot. Similarly, this world is the effect of that Brahma, so the world cannot exist without Brahma. Every atom of this world is Brahma only. There are those who know this and they look at this world as Brahma. Like in Gita, Bhagavan says, Maya tatamidam sarvam jagadavhyakta murtina. This whole world is pervaded by me. In my unmanifest form, I alone am present in this whole world. Hari Vyapak Sarvatra Samana. In Ramayana also, Tulsidas ji says that Ishvara is Vyapak Sarvatra and Saman, is all pervading and homogeneously present in everything. But that Brahma is also indicated as the efficient cause. Not only the material cause, but efficient cause also. Just as the pot, the clay is the material cause, and the pot maker is the efficient cause. So, what is the role of the pot maker? The pot maker imagines different types of pots and bricks and tiles in his intellect, in his buddhi. And then he converts that clay into those items which he had imagined. So, the pot maker has the pot in his mind. He imagines the pot in his mind and he molds that clay to manifest that pot. So his buddhi plays an important role. Buddhi not only imagines the pot, but also directs his hands to convert that clay into the pot. Now, this world has Brahma as the material cause. So, what is the material? Brahma alone is as though the material which has gone to make this world. The Shakti of that Brahma, which is indicated as the Para and Apara Prakriti. The Apara Prakriti has got this Tanmatras. This Tanmatras alone expresses as this world. They become the bodies of Hiranyagarbha, Vaishvanara, Devata, Vanaspati, animal, birds, human beings. So the material is the Tanmatras, but how these Tanmatras get molded into these various shapes? How does the Tanmatra get modified into these various forms? They are modified by the buddhi. And what is this buddhi? The buddhi is also expression of Bhagwan's Prakriti. So Bhagwan's Prakriti, which has this Avyakta and Mahat Tattva, this Mahat Tattva expresses as Samashti Buddhi, which has got the intelligence, the knowledge to convert the Tanmatras into this beautiful world. Just as we see in the world, we see a seed, a tiny little seed is there. What is that seed? It is some material. If you open the seed and look, we will just see some homogeneous material. But the seed is not only material, but seed has got a tremendous intelligence. Intelligence to convert the material, not only in the seed, but the material in the soil. If you put this seed in the soil, this seed has got the intelligence to convert that soil into a beautiful tree. I don't think there is any greater miracle which we can directly see than this. In the same soil, you sow the seeds of different plants. You have the seeds of rose. You have the seeds of tomatoes. You have the seeds of karela. They are put in the same soil next to each other. They are like neighbors, friendly neighbors. But when the seed grows into a plant, the rose seed will grow into a beautiful rose plant, blooming with beautiful roses with lovely fragrance. From the same soil, the tomato seed takes up the material which go to become the tomato plant. The karela seed takes up the material to make a beautiful karela plant with nice, fresh, bitter karelas. So the seed has got intelligence. So the soil is the material, and this intelligence is there in the seed. Together, they manifest this beautiful plant. In the same way, that intelligence is required. So intelligence is there, and the material is there, this panchatanmatras, which gets converted into this beautiful world. So that intelligence, the buddhi, samashti buddhi, which has got the knowledge of everything, it's sarvajna. That buddhi also expresses through Bhagwan's prakriti. That Mahat Tattva is the cause, the source of this samashti buddhi. And Ahankar Tattva is the source of samashti mana. So samashti buddhi is there, samashti mana is there, which is capable of converting the pancha tanmatras into this beautiful world. So our buddhi is connected to the material world. Buddhi of Hiranyagarbha is connected to the material world. Our buddhi is also connected to the material world. For example, my hand It is made up of matter only. The hand is made up of matter. Then the thought comes in my mind that let me wave my hand. So that thought, when it comes, I give command to the pranas and they activate the necessary mechanism to bring about this action of waving the hand. So the matter is controlled by my buddhi. Same happens at the cosmic level. The matter, panchatanmatras, are controlled by the buddhi of Hiranyagarbha and buddhi later on by the buddhi of Vaishvanara. Now, for this waving of my hand, not only my buddhi is required to make this possible, but I should also have the desire to wave my hand. I should also have the sense of doership to wave my hand. Means there has to be an ahankar, which has got this desire that let me wave my hand. Similarly, for this world, just having samashti buddhi and samashti mana is not sufficient. There is a need for ahankar also. Because Ishvara, that Brahma, doesn't have any desire to create the world. But Ishvara has got the Shakti, the power to create the world. The Prakriti is there, the power is there to create this world. But that desire is not there. And the jivas, they have desires to experience the world, to fulfill, to do their karmas, to fulfill their desires. But they don't have the Shakti. So pravritti is there in a jiva, but no Shakti. And Shakti is there in Ishvara, but no pravritti. But when this Shakti and pravritti come together, then action happens. So the Shakti of Bhagwan, which is Avyakta, and the pravritti which is caused by our avidya. Pravritti is there, we have desire because of avidya only. So that avidya and avyakta prakriti coming together gives rise to what is called ahankar. Therefore, in Bhagavad Gita, 7th chapter, Bhagwan Shankaracharya ji, while commenting on the shloka regarding the apara prakriti are the ashtadha prakriti, 8 items are there. Bhumi rapo nalo vayu kham mano buddhireva cha ahankariti yamme bhinna prakriti ashtadha. So while talking about that ahankar, Bhagwan Shankaracharya defines ahankar as avidya sanyuktam avyaktam. Avidya associated with avyakta. Avyakta is the prakriti of Bhagwan, and avidya, our avidya, when they come together, they form what is called ahankar. Therefore, avidya is different and prakriti or maya is different. Many times people, they talk about them as same. They are not same. Maya is the Shakti of Ishvara or Brahman, and avidya is the defect of the Jiva. So, in Hiranyagarbha, that avidya sanyuktam avyaktam, that ahankar is there, means he has got the desire to create this world. And he has got the desire of all the beings, infinite beings are there in him. So samashti vasanas are there in Hiranyagarbha. And in order to fulfill those vasanas of all the beings, he gets this desire to create this world. And with the help of Bhagwan's Shakti, the world gets created. Just as a mother, she has got her few children and they have desire to eat different type of food, but she doesn't have desire. But she has got the power to cook. And children, they have desire, but they don't have the power to cook. So the desires of the children and the power of the mother together works to make the different items for children to eat. In the same way, Hiranyagarbha, with his ahankar, with his buddhi, samashti mana, he converts this panchatanmatras, which is the Shakti, mysterious power of Ishvara, into into that panchikaranam. He converts them into panchamahabhut, which we saw means we discussed about it. And with that panchamahabhut, Vaishvanara is born. So Vaishvanara also has got samashti mana, samashti buddhi. So he, with his buddhi and his mana and his ahankar, further converts this panchamahabhut through the process of Trivritkaranam and gives rise to or creates the various worlds and the bodies of devatas, vanaspatis, and pashu and human beings. So the Sat, Brahma, is both the material cause as well as the efficient cause. Adi Shankaracharya ji, in his Bhashya, in order to present the material cause, he gives the example of clay and pot. And in order to present the efficient cause, he gives the example of rope and snake. But that example has to be understood properly. It doesn't mean the world is illusion, but it means it is expression of the buddhi of Hiranyagarbha and Vaishvanara. And that's what he says, ki rajvadi avayavebhyah sarpadi sanstanavat buddhi parikalpitebhyah sad avayavebhyah vikara sanstana upapattehe. So buddhi parikalpita. See, now Vaishvanara, he has got the world in his mind and he presents the world through these panchatanmatras. The world which he sees He makes it manifest. And when we look at this world, we see the world and it comes to our buddhi. A reverse process happens. In case of Vaishvanara, he sees the world in his buddhi and then he manifests that world. But when we are experiencing this world, we see the world and that world is experienced in our buddhi. So what is experienced in the buddhi is just words, mere sentences. What is really out there is that Sat Brahma alone. Just as when we look at the pot is experienced in our buddhi. The shape, the form is experienced in our buddhi. We give it a name, a pot. And through our eyes, what we see is the clay only. The senses, they experience the clay. And the buddhi imagines the pot. Similarly, this world is experienced by our senses and imagined by our mind, our intellect. But all that is experienced is Sat alone. That is being said again and again. Shankaracharya ji, he emphasizes this because when people hear this example of rope and snake, we tend to think that world is mithya. It is not mithya. Vaishvanara, when he imagines the world and converts this Tanmatras into this world, it's a real world. Means the Sat alone is expressing as this world. So when we look at this pot, the image of that pot, when it happens as it is the proper knowledge of this pot. But with our eyes, if we see the pot and we think something else, then that is a false knowledge. I see a rope and I think it is a snake, then my knowledge, which is there in my head, that it is a snake, is a false knowledge. It is wrong. It doesn't match the object. But in case of Vaishvanara, it is not false knowledge. He thinks of the world and same world is presented in front. Therefore, the world is not false. Therefore, Shankaracharya says, when the person objects, ki asadeva tarhi sarva yad griyate rajjuriva sarpadi akarena, everything must be asat only, just as we imagine the snake on a rope. Yes, if we imagine a snake on a rope, that is asat. But world is not asat. It is not imagined by us. It is presented to us by Vaishvanara. So, na, Bhagavan says, Shankaracharya ji, ki na. What you are thinking is not proper. Sat eva dvaita bhelena anyatha grihyamanatvat. Ki sat alone is seen as dvaita, as this variety. Therefore, asatvam kasyachit kvachiditi bhrumaha na asatvam kasyachit kvachita. Therefore, there is nothing called asat. Then he also talks about some logicians. They say that the world is seen, but before it was all asat, and later on also it will become asat only. Now it is somehow it is seen. Bhagwan says we don't accept this. Shankaracharya says we don't accept this theory of these logicians. Yata satah anyat vastu antaram parikalpya punaha tasyeva prag utpattehe pradvamsa pradvamsat cha urdhvam asatvam bruvate tarkikaha. So these tarkikas means logicians. They say that before the world was asat, means non-existent. Now it is sat. Now it is seen as though it is there, and later on it will again become asat. So it has all come from asat. Shankaracharya says we don't agree to this faulty thinking. He says asmabihi, according to us, kadachit क्वचिदपि सतः अन्यत् अभिधानम अभिधेयम वा वस्तु परिकल्पिते. He said, according to us, there cannot be any object other than Sat. Neither any object nor any name other than Sat. Everything is Sat alone. Sadeva tu sarvam abhidhanam abhidhiyate cha yad anya buddhya. Whatever is seen is Sat alone. It is seen differently, it is imagined differently, it is thought of differently, but everything is Sat alone. Just like in the world also we see the different expressions of, let us say, water. Water sometimes expresses as liquid, but what is the essence in water is H2O, hydrogen and oxygen. Sometimes it expresses as liquid, sometimes it expresses as gas or vapor, sometimes it expresses as solid like ice, but all the time it is H2O only. Similarly, in whatever way the Sat expresses as this Pancha Mahabhut, as different beings having different bodies, it is all Sat alone. So yatha rajjureva sarpa buddhya sarpa iti abhidhiyate. Just as, again he gives example, just as we may see a rope as snake, but it is whatever we see is actually the rope alone. Only it is thought differently, but it is rope alone. Also, yathava pinda ghatadi mrudah anya buddhya pinda ghatadi shabdena abhidhiyate loke. Or like clay is seen as pot or bricks or tiles, though it is seen in different forms, it is clay only. In the same way, in whatever form and in whatever name this world is seen, it is Sat alone. So, here it is said in this mantra, ki Sat as thought and it manifested teja, fire or heat. And then as teja it thought and manifested water. So that's Sat Shrishtam Teja Aikshata Tejo Rupa Sanstitam Sat Aikshata Ityartha. So when it is said the Teja, he thought and created water, what it means is that Sat alone as Teja thought and created water. Because Sat alone is there all the time in everything. So after it manifested water, then what happened? In the next mantra, the Rishi continues, he says, so mantra number 4. Ta apa aikshanta bhavvah syama praja e mahiti ta annam ashrujanta tasmad yatra kvacha varshati tadeva bhuishtham annam bhavati adbhya eva tat adhyannadyam jayate. Once more. Ta apayakshanta bhavvah shama praja e mahiti ta annam ashrujanta tasmad yatra kvacha varshati tadeva bhuishtham annam bhavati adbhya eva tat adhyannadyam jayate. Ta apayakshanta. Then that water thought, water saw. So water saw means the Sat alone as water he saw, he thought. Means he brought that in his mind and created Anna. Anna here means earth. So this is the sequence which is mentioned. Ki from that supreme Atma or Brahma, Akash was born first, then from Akash Vayu, then from Vayu Agni, then from Agni Jala, and from Jala Prithvi. Prithvi means the gross matter. Prithvi doesn't mean this earth, but gross matter. Then further, ki tasmad yatra kvacha varshati. Then it is said in this mantra, ki when it rains, tasmad yatra kvacha varshati, when it rains, tadeva bhuishtham annam bhavati. Then lot of anna, lot of here anna means the vanaspati and trees, etc. grow. So adbhya eva tad adhyannadyam jayate. So from that water alone, all this food, etc. grows. That is what is said in the mantra here. So here, Shankaracharya ji in his commentary, he writes, Kita apa ekshanta purvavad eva Purvavat eva abakara sanstitam sad ekshata ityartaha. So this water thought means Sat alone seated in that water thought, and it created that Anna. Anna means Prithvi. So Bahava Prabhutam Shama Bhavema Praja Ema Utpadyema Hiti Ta Annam Ashrujanta Prithvi Lakshanam. So when it is in the first line, the word Anna, it means Prithvi. Prithvi means the matter. So this is the creation of the Panchamahabhut, the first creation like panchikaranam, which is done by Hiranyagarbha. So when it is said Sat thought, we have to understand Sat as Hiranyagarbha thought and did this panchikaranam. And all these 5 Tanmatras, they got converted into the Pancha Mahabhut. But then the Upanishad takes a jump and it says that tasmad yatra kvacha varshati, that when it rains, then lot of anna gets produced. So here it is talking about the Trivritkaranam. It has taken a jump. So from the rains, so rain is the expression of the first Trivritkaranam. And from that, the vanaspati, trees, etc. are born, which is the expression of the second Trivritkaranam. So I had mentioned this sequence before, so you have to remember that. Otherwise, you may get confused. So here Shankaracharya ji writes in his commentary, कि अन्नम पृथ्वी लक्षणम. So first that anna means prithvi. So parthivam hi annam tasmad yat. Then thereafter tasmad yatra kvacha varshati deshe tat tatreva bhuishtham prabhutam annam bhavati. अतः अद्यः एव तत् अन्नाम अध्यधिजायते ता अन्नम असृजन्ते इति पृथ्वी भुक्ता पूर्वम इह तु दृष्टान्तेन अन्नं च तत् अद्यं च इति विशेषणात् व्रीहि यवाद्य उच्यन्ते. So Shankaracharya says that previously that word anna referred to prithvi. But here in the second line, when it is said from rain, anna is born, it means the plants, etc. So it indicates the birth of the plants, etc., which is the expression which happens after the second Trivritkaranam. Here Shankaracharya ji then further says that all this is mentioned here, but the main thing which we have to remember is all this is the expression of that Sat Brahma alone. Though a lot of details are there, but the main thing to be remembered and understood is that all these are the expression of Sat alone. And therefore, knowing that Sat, everything will be known. Sat ekasmin vidnyate sarvam vidnyatam bhavati. So when we know that one Sat, everything will become known. Tad anyatvat sarvasya dvitiya vachanatcha. So other than this Sat, there is no other object or there is no other thing. Everything is expression of that Sat. And this Sat has thought, Sat imagined, Sat thought. By saying this, the Shruti also indicates that Sat is Chetan. It is not Jada. It is not inert. So the cause of this world is not some inert Brahma, but it is Chetan Brahma. It is Chetan Sat. So ataha Chetanavat Karanam Jagat iti Siddham. Therefore the cause of this world is Chetan Brahma alone. Again, to give this example of this note, just to refresh your memory. So this note is like that Sat Brahma, Ekameva Advitiyam Brahma. Okay? Then that from that Brahma alone, the first Hiranyagarbha is born. So Hiranyagarbha is like this, a folded note. So even when the note is folded, it continues to remain a note. It continues to have the same value. Similarly, even when Sat expresses as Hiranyagarbha, that Hiranyagarbha is just a name, just a form. The reality is Sat Brahma alone. So, Hiranyagarbha is Brahma alone. Then from Hiranyagarbha, after panchikaranam, Vaishvanara is born. But this Vaishvanara is also, like this note, is also that Supreme Brahma alone. Vaishvanara is not different, but he appears to have a different form, a different shape. He appears to have a mind, he has got an intellect, he has got his own ahankar, he has got his own shakti, he has got his own body. So it appears as though he's a different entity altogether, but no, he is that Brahma alone. Then that Vaishvanara does the Trivritkaranam. With the first Trivritkaranam, the Devatas are born and the different worlds are born, the Lokas. So these Devatas like the rain, the sun, the moon, the fire, the air which we experience, they are all after the first Trivritkaranam. Then only we are able to see them and experience them. Then he continues with the creation and with again the one more Trivritkaranam, he creates the bodies of the Vanaspati. So Vanaspati, they are the product of the first Trivritkaranam, means the rain, the soil, the sunlight go to become the body of the Vanaspati. So they have taken the material from the first Trivritkaranam and they are the second Trivritkaranam. Then human beings, animal, birds, they take the material from the second Trivritkaranam, which becomes our body, our mind, our senses, our karmendriyas, jnanendriyas. So the whole thing, the main idea here, the Upanishad wants to convey that it is just a play, just an expression of that one Sat alone. That is the most important thing. And just because it is expressing differently with different form, different names, those different forms and names are just words. The reality is that Sat alone. Just as the different pots and different bricks and tiles are just names, but the reality is the clay. Similarly, the different forms are just mere names. The reality is that Sat. So after pointing out this whole creation of this world, the Upanishad will finally come to us so that we can analyze our own body, we will be able to analyze our own mind, our own senses, and our own that inner self and comprehend it as Sat. So there is a sequence, there is a method of presenting this great knowledge to us. So the Upanishad is following that particular method of revealing this supreme truth to us. So here at this stage, the teacher is not telling Shvetaketu that you are that Sat. He has kept that knowledge with him only. But when the right time comes, at that time, the teacher will tell Shvetaketu, Tattvamasi. And as soon as he listens to that Tattvamasi, he will comprehend that yes, I am that Sat Brahma. So the whole thing is very beautifully presented. Now, thus ends this second section. Now, in this third section, the teacher continues with this sequence of creation. It talks about the various types of beings and how they are all expression of the Sat alone. So that portion we will see in our class next time. The next class will be after some gap because I am going for this camp. We'll be having that camp on Sri Rama Gita at Bangalore. So we will not have these classes. Thereafter, I will be further traveling. So the next class we will have on 28th of September, Wednesday, 28th of September, we will have the next class on Chandogya Upanishad, wherein we will continue with where we left today. But during this time, you please go through the talks again, contemplate on it, revise whatever you have heard and understood, and we will continue after I return from my travels. So till then, you take care. Be happy, safe, peaceful, healthy. Do your work, do your sadhana. Listen to the pravachan again. It's very interesting actually. And what is expressed here in Chandogya Upanishad, this whole Trivritkaranam and this Shrishti Prakaranam, is not there in any other Upanishad in this way. It's very unique and very interesting. And it is so very scientific. It's very amazing. There is nothing illogical or irrational in this. If you find anything illogical, irrational, it might be because of my explanation. There might be some flaw or defect. But otherwise, what is presented in the Upanishad and in Bhagwan Shankaracharya's Bhashya, there are no defects, there are no flaws, everything is absolutely perfect, rational, scientific. In fact, the scientists also, if they, with an open mind, they study the Upanishad, they study the Vedas properly, they will be able to understand the secret of this whole world. Otherwise, they will be groping into darkness only, doing some trial and error to figure out how this world has happened. Like the six blind people trying to understand an elephant by just using their sense of touch to figure out what is this elephant. But a person with eyes will be able to see the whole elephant properly. So the Upanishads, with their divine vision, reveals the reality of the Supreme Brahma very beautifully. So this we will continue with our classes from 28th of September. So till then, you take care. Hari Om, Hari Om, Hari Om. Shri Ram Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya Ram. Shri Ram Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya Ram. Shri Ram Jaya Jaya Ram, 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 Shri Ram Jaya Ram, Shri Ram Jaya Jaya Ram, Shri Ram 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 Jaya Ram, Jaya Jaya Ram, Jaya Jaya Ram, बोलिए सियावर रामचंद्र भगवान की जय। ओम पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ओम शांति शांति शांतिः। हरि ओम श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। हरि ओम।